Okay, so I'm gonna do it. I don't normally do the whole tagging thing, but I'm really bored. And yeah, I kind of just want to. Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's just do it for a little bit of a crack. I forgot the woman that done it originally. I forgot her name, and I'm really sorry. I think it's Honey Raven. I don't know. I don't know, but I believe she started this off. I hope. And Kellyanne from the Four Queens has done one, and the Rooks Hollow has done one, and so basically I kind of thought that I'd do one, because I feel that, yeah, let's see. So this is called 7 Witchy Questions tag. So let's do this and see what happens. So number 1, biggest spell disaster. Wow, I've had a lot. I really have, and not to sound like I'm boasting, but I mean, I've done spells where, I mean, there was one person that every time I used to go out, I used to wear a specific type of oil to draw guys towards me, and this guy would constantly be there, the same guy, and we would chat all the time, and he would chat to me, text me and stuff like that, and we kept chatting and chatting, but nothing was going to come of it. But I didn't process through, so I kept wearing this oil, going out, seeing him, like, oh, hi again, it's really weird you're here. And basically, kind of, he was the one that I'd kind of conjured, basically, accidentally. And yeah, the guy followed me all the way home to London. And that got a little bit intense and a little weird, and to the point where I had to actually say to him, look, I need to talk to you, and I actually explained what it was that I had been wearing and stuff like that. So yeah, that happened. There's been a lot of spells I've done, I've cast, that have actually gone a bit too well, like worked a little too well, and certain things have happened where I'm like, oh, I actually wish I kind of hadn't have cast that now, but I guess it's all a learning curve and a learning process. So yeah, yeah, there's been loads and loads of stuff that's happened. There was one guy once who I was dating. He had a friend that I didn't particularly like, so I done a hot footing on him, and basically went out. This involves me going out a lot. I'm not a complete party monster, by the way. And basically I went out, and then the next day he had a go at me and said, why was you ignoring me, rah, rah, rah. And I was like, what? And he was like, why was you ignoring me? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, I came up to you that evening to say hi, and you completely blanked me, rah, rah, rah. And I was like, look, I don't know what you're talking about. I have absolutely no idea. What are you on about? He was like, I was with such and such, who was the boy that I put the spell on, and you completely ignored us. And I was like, okay. So that worked very well, but it was a little bit of a disaster. So yeah, there's been quite a few spells that I've done that have not turned into disasters, but I've cast a lot of spells. I've done quite a lot of magic, so there's been a lot of things that have happened that have had the effects where I've not particularly imagined them to carry out to be. Number 2, something you wish you were told being a witchling. Okay, so God, that's specific, isn't it? I wish that the more traditional forms of witchcraft were a lot more public, were a lot more accessible. I often find with the more sort of stuff that I'm into, it's very, very hard to actually find sources, and to find reliable sources as well. So I kind of wish that I'd have known that, because when I first ever got involved in witchcraft, it was traditional witchcraft, but then I moved into Wicca because I felt that there wasn't enough sources on more older forms of witchcraft. So yeah, I definitely wish that it would be a lot more mainstream and public, but not in a way that's kind of Silver Raven Wolfie, Ride a Silver Broomstick kind of thing. Not like that at all, but just a little more accessible for people. I feel that in terms of proper traditional witchcraft, there isn't actually any things there that, you know, you have to go looking for them, which I suppose is a good thing, but sometimes people just don't actually know about the older forms of witchcraft, and so yeah. Number 3, pet peeves. God, I've got a lot. I really have. I'm terrible. The first one is the word witchy. I hate the word witchy. I detest it. It just sounds really, let's put on a pink tutu and a little witch's hat and run around with a wand. It's just a bit, oh, I find it a little bit cringy. Pet peeves, when people put stuffed teddy bears on the altars, I just think, what are you doing? I can't help it. I mean, each to their own. We all have our different practice and we all work different ways, but I don't get it. I really don't get it. And another thing I don't understand is witches that don't actually practice witchcraft but call themselves witches. I don't understand how you can possibly call yourself a witch and not actually practice spellcraft and make things happen around you. I don't get that. That's completely, it does not make sense. So yeah. Number 4, how did you know your spirituality was different? Well, I was grown up around Christian spiritualism. So my mum's a medium and a clairvoyant. So in terms of spirituality, it was always kind of around me, and I always, even now to this day, I have a firm, solid belief in the ancestors, and the dead is what I work with quite a lot, and I am a little involved in spiritualism. But when I was a child, I just, probably like a lot of witches nowadays, I didn't stop. I was obsessed. I was absolutely obsessed with. I used to play witches from a really little kid, and then when I got older it was the witch trials and various things in history, and I was obsessed with witches, just the practice of magic and old folklore and folk stories and the supernatural. I was absolutely obsessed, and I still am today. So it was always a thing that was always there. And when I was a child, I was very, very much into, well, still am into sort of preserving the environment, looking after the environment, and some sort of forms of animal rights and stuff like that. To the point where when I was a kid I tried being a vegetarian for a day, but I ate a bacon sandwich because I forgot I was vegetarian, so that was a fail. But you know, I've always felt different as well. I've always felt like I've been completely different. Growing up, I would see, hear and feel spirits regularly and talk to them a lot. So, yeah. Number 5, best witchy book. So, you guys are probably going to hear, you know, you guys are probably going to know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say probably Gemma Gary, A Cornish Book of Ways. I really like that, and The Black Toad. There are various other books that I like, though, on witchcraft. I've recently got The Cunning Man's Handbook from Avalonia Books, which is basically a huge book with proper old cunning folk practices. So I really like stuff like that as well. I like and I really love spell books that are actually old magic or old practices and just folk magic. I like a lot of books that focus on operative magic. Not necessarily so much ritualistic magic, but here's how we get stuff done kind of operative magic. And by get stuff done, I mean putting a love spell on somebody, putting a curse on somebody, actually making things in this world occur. So yeah, that's anything with folk magic in, and even some modern folk magic. I have absolutely no problem in that, but I do enjoy operative magic quite a lot. Ooh, excuse me. Number 6, witchy movie. It's a bit of a tie, guys. It's a bit of a tie. Witchy movie, I would say Sleepy Hollow. I really love that, the Tim Burton version, the one with Johnny Depp in. Because I think it's a very good portrayal of witchcraft. I like the idea that the witch uses these conjurations in order to call these spirits up and get stuff done. I think it's a very accurate portrayal of witchcraft, the idea of you do something for me and I do something for you. And basically that is what's in the movie. So yeah, I mean, I know it's not a movie, but I recently finished a series called Salem, which was fucking incredible. It was immense, and it was actually nice to see a series of witchcraft that wasn't shit. I mean, this is only my personal opinion here, but I think American Horror Story Coven failed a lot. I really do. Compared to the other two series of American Horror Story, I thought Coven was diabolical and not in the way that it should be. I thought it was terrible. But the series that I finished watching called Salem had a very accurate portrayal of witches. I felt a very good portrayal of witches. So yeah, but all in all, movie Sleepy Hollow. I like the craft. I like practical magic as well. Yeah, Bell, Book and Candle's pretty good for about kind of 60s witches, which is good fun. And Midnight Offerings is very, very cool as well. There's lots. I watched Season of the Witch once. That just felt like an LSD trip. That was too much. It was based off of Paul Hewson's Master in Witchcraft as well, so I thought I had to watch it, but when I actually watched it I thought, oh. And there's also Hexen as well, which is a very old, like 1920s, I think, documentary on witchcraft. And that's a movie as well, and it's all in black and white, and it's very cool. Number 7, have you ever doubted your path? Well, to put it quite blunt, yeah, of course I have. I'm human, and I wouldn't believe anybody on this tag if they said they didn't doubt their path. At the end of the day, sorry to use a Jeremy Kyle quote there, but at the end of the day, we are all human. We all have faults, we all have weaknesses, and certain things that we just we find hard to maybe process. Without sounding like a complete and utter loon, for me the doubt is with all the stuff that's happened to me and all the stuff I've gone through, the main part of doubt is that all this stuff that's happened to me, I can't turn around and say that it didn't happen, because it did, and I saw it happen. So this could be results with spells, this could be things that have happened with spirits that I've worked with. And I can't say that that didn't happen. So does that mean that I'm actually just mentally ill? And this is all a load of baloney, I don't think that, but sometimes that can cross my mind, and it's quite a scary thought to actually think, am I just mentally ill? Yeah, but there are things that have happened to me that I can't turn around and say didn't happen, because they did, and I was there and I witnessed that, and I can't change my opinion on that. And then also I have sometimes had this doubt where actually, what if all the atheists are right and this is a load of crap, basically. But to be honest, it's morely the first one that's happened, because I have seen all this crazy mayhem happen. I do sometimes think, well, actually, is this just me being mentally ill? I don't know. I hope not. I really hope not. But it's kind of something that does cross my mind, because it's quite frightening. But then there have been other people with me that have. Oh, excuse me. There's been other people with me that have actually turned around and said, well, no, I was there and that's happened. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not mentally ill, and that's great. So yeah, there you are. That's the 7 Witchy Questions tag, I think. There you are, 7 Witchy Questions tag. So if anyone's watching it, tag, you're it.